Hello and welcome to another podcast on Put Me In, Coach. We didn't do so well against the Braves today, so yeah, so let's just get through it and stuff because Diamondbacks just they didn't do good. So obviously enough, Corbin Carroll started as DH today and stuff. Let's see. Nolan Arenado is out there for third base. Carlos Santana at first base. Jordan Lawler at left field. And Jorge Barosa as right field. And the rest is just pretty much the same. And then we also have other hitters as well came up as pitch hits. As Jose Fernandez came up to hit for Perdomo at shortstop, and then Vargas came in to hit for Nolan Arenado for at third base, and then James McCain came in for Corbin Carroll for DH and stuff. But fortunately enough, and then Tim Tewa, Tim Tewa was playing left field for Jordan Lawler because Jordan Lawler got hit by a pitch on his hand, so that's why he went out instead. So that's pretty much of that. No whole lot about battings and stuff. There's a lot of hits here and there and stuff, but there's only 2 runs on the board on this offense and stuff. So it's cool to see the other people of come in and hit for the other guys and stuff, but not so much came forward to get us to score a lot and stuff. And then the pitching, Ryan Nelson came to start the game and stuff, got his first loss when 5 innings, give 5 hits, struck out 3, walked 3, and gave up 5 runs and stuff. And then Ryanado Lopez for the Braves did good. Only gave up 1 run, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 strikes, 1 ball, and 1 run. And then the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, Kevin Ginkel, Joe Ross, Andrew Hoffman, and James McCain came in and stuff as well as being as a DH hitter, and then came in to pitch in the 9th and stuff. And you can see Diamondbacks got lit up by the Braves offense and stuff. So that is that and stuff. I wouldn't say so much about it and stuff, but I think Nelson did great. I think in the 5th inning, it just didn't go so well to him and stuff. There's just points enough of, just it didn't go our way. There was a little oops in the defense as well. The defense didn't help. You gotta understand, the Braves are also a good team, and they also have a good offense on that team as well. So you gotta just understand enough of, obviously Nelson is a good pitcher and stuff, but it just didn't go his way and stuff, or the Diamondbacks in generally, not even close and stuff. Now we're talking about the scoring. There's going to be a lot more on the Braves than the Diamondbacks and stuff. Obviously enough, Matt Olson started with a solo home run to 1-0 in top of the first. And then Dominic Smith hit a solo home run to make 2-0 in top of third. The other crazy thing about Dominic Smith, because he actually walked it off a couple games later and stuff, so that was good for him. Obviously, he is a power hitter and stuff, what I know and stuff. But the funny thing about him is he's a weird dude. I would definitely say that because I think there was twice of enough of when I went to Fenway Park to see the Red Sox, and I also saw him as a Giants player when I went to the Oracle Park with my parents as well, and so my parents and I saw Dominic Smith in a Red Sox and Giants fan. I mean, a Giants player, I meant to say. And my dad actually made fun of Dominic Smith run because he just weird run, like, it's like those Flintstone running and stuff. That's what Dominic Smith was running like and stuff. So it's just very odd enough of a person can run that, can actually hit home runs and stuff, and he basically crushed it and stuff. Jordan Lawler hit his first career home run as a solo home run to make it 1-2 in the bottom of third. Fortunately enough, I didn't see it because I was pooping. So fortunately of that, good for him. I never knew he was gonna hit and stuff. I guess he was doing good in spring training and stuff, and he did it today. So that's pretty much of that. And then Austin Riley. Again, I'm not saying about every Braves, hit and run or whatever and stuff. Not gonna talk about it and stuff. I'm only gonna talk about like the most biggest plays, runs in the game, even on the opposite side. And so Austin Riley hit a 2 RBI double to make it 7-1, top of the fifth. And then Michael Harris the second hit a third RBI double in the 10th. Sorry, I read it wrong. Let me start over, please. Michael Harris the second hit 3 RBI double to make it as 10-1 in top of the fifth, and the Braves scored 8 runs in the fifth. So it pretty much went crazy on that and stuff. That's where enough of Nelson got a little lit up and stuff, and then Ginkel, and then Ross. So it just never ending lasting for the Diamondbacks to get out the inning and get a zone to get some offense in there and stuff. So our pitching was not doing so well, and then even our offense didn't do so well either and stuff. And this is the point where enough of, obviously, yes, we lost badly and stuff, but I did get lit up and stuff. I got to be honest with myself. Yeah, I was screaming at the TV. No joke. This really pissed me off so much and stuff. This was a time when it was literally after the Braves just scored 10-1 in that fifth and stuff. And then when Jordan Lawler came up on the second at bat and stuff, the totally messed this game up as well. It didn't really go our way the whole time and stuff. But this, man, like, you gotta make your calls. I just heard of an just got fired by being so bad as an and stuff. And I wouldn't say the was terrible today, but he was making some mistakes and stuff, and especially on the Diamondbacks and stuff, and it just didn't go our way at all and stuff. But fortunately enough, there was one call. Jordan Lawler did not swung. It looked like a ball. Called a strike. Jordan did not tap his head to challenge the end of it. He just didn't do nothing and stuff. And in a way of enough to the whole thing of it, Jordan Lawler is supposed to be be at first base. Supposed to be a walk for Jordan and stuff. But fortunately enough, and this is another thing, it literally pissed me off because enough of the totally messed it up on a pitch it shouldn't be and stuff. And then he was gonna make another one, and he did and stuff. But fortunately enough, he called it as a ball, but it was a strike. And fortunately enough, like it was in that zone where enough it was like a ball strike in that range where it just hit in the zone and directly and stuff. So in a way, enough of if that was not gonna be challenged, Jordan Lawler would be at first base anyways. So like, what was the point? And enough. And then fortunately enough for Baldwin, the catcher for the Braves, challenged it. And fortunately enough, it was a strike, and that was strike 3 for Lawler. So it's just like, you freaking kidding me? Like, it wouldn't really even mattered of enough of it and stuff. Like, this is the first batter in the bottom of the 5th, and it just like it just happened to in this way, just with a one bad call. Shouldn't be a strike and stuff, and another bad call he didn't call a strike, but it was a strike. So it wasn't really mattered of enough of what happened or anyone would challenge it. And if it was challenged in a way, Jordan Lawler would be at first base anyways as a walk. So it really changed the game in this perspective and stuff. And that's where it really pissed me off. And definitely enough, you're winning 10-1. Like, I don't care if enough of it was the opposite of it or anything and stuff. Jordan Lawler did not challenge the call. It's supposed to be a ball, but the messed it up by calling a strike and stuff, and then you have to call it and actually challenge it. And fortunately enough, yeah, you got it correctly, Baldwin. You got it correctly. Like, there's no mistake from that. But we didn't challenge, so let us slide through and get in at first base. So it's like it's just like, and enough of like, where's the common courtesy right here? Where enough of we didn't do it, and then you have to do it, and you're up to 10-1, bottom of the 5th. Like, come on, it should be a walk. It should be. Shouldn't be a strike. No, it led to a strike. It should be a ball to go to first base. So that didn't really happen, and it really, really didn't change the game, and it really did gave us no runs away and stuff. Because if you think about it, in a way, because Lawler was the first batter, came in the bottom of the 5th and stuff, and he'll be at first base if he walked and stuff. The next batter, Barossa, hit a double. So fortunately enough of how fast of enough of Lawler can get to home, or he can stop at third. So say like enough of he stopped at third. So there should be a runner at third and second with no outs and stuff. Marte is up to the plate and stuff. He ground into at first base and stuff. So if the ball was trying to go to first base and Lawler scored and stuff, the score right there will be 2-10 right there. And so still with one out, Corbin Carroll came in for the next batter and stuff, and he also grounded out, because at this point enough it was 2 outs at the time when Corbin Carroll came to the plate. So if it was 1 out and he ground out, because that's what he did and stuff, and Barossa was going to be at third base, and if that was another RBI out right there, it would be 3-10. And then for another run in the 9th inning, it would actually make 4 runs for the Diamondbacks. So it really did change. Like, it wouldn't really mattered of enough of we win or not or anything. We will lose anyways in the game. It wouldn't really matter and stuff, but you're taking some runs away from us we absolutely deserved. So that's where enough of I just didn't like that, and it really pissed me off. I was literally screaming at the TV and stuff. I literally want to punch air at the face, and Baldwin just like, why did you do this and stuff? Like, you didn't give up a chance for us to get back in the game and stuff. And what you do, get more runs. That's great for you guys and stuff, because you literally got more runs than what we have and stuff. We literally got embarrassed today and stuff. And if it wouldn't be of those runs you gave away from us and stuff, it would still be more embarrassed. But it was our runs away of enough of the what the calls were and stuff. So yeah, it's so bad. And then fortunately enough, McCurko Dubon hit a solo home run to make the 11th, top of the sixth and stuff. And then fortunately after that point, the Braves just kept getting more runs and runs and runs and stuff till at the end enough we lost 17-2. 17-2. And if we would get those runs, it would be 17-4, because fortunately enough, I would definitely say Barossa was the other person came up to hit the second run, got the RBI double in the ninth, and stuff for us to get the second run on the board and stuff. So for that, it would be 17-4 and stuff. So I would be more clear about of not being pissed off in a way. It's just, I would definitely say just this game just didn't go the way the Diamondbacks wanted and stuff, and that's just what it is. So that's where enough of just of that and stuff. And then the other worst thing about this game is for the pitching coach, Ken, I don't know his freaking name and stuff. Yeah, he's another thing. It's just a negative where enough of like, you're just gonna piss me more off, So it just didn't go our way. We kind of gave up in the ninth inning and stuff. And fortunately enough, McCain as a pitcher is a catcher and stuff. Obviously, he has pitching experience from other teams like the Orioles and stuff. But gave up 7 hits and 5 runs in 1 inning and stuff. So it didn't go our way. Our progress, just there was a lot of defense where enough, like even Nolan Arenado, there was a weird play, where he bobbled a play at third base, and then didn't get no outs from it because his ball was already late to first base and stuff. And then we were trying to go for a double play, and then of course Baldwin is another person, just totally ruined us today and stuff to get to first base. Good for the hustle to get at first base, to just not getting out the inning and stuff. I get about this is competition and you want to do the best of it, but again, you already winning a whole lot and stuff. And then that's where enough of it didn't go our way in the 5th inning, and that's where just the Braves just keep going on and on our pitchers and just keep getting base hits, and we were walking so much and stuff. It was just never ending 5th inning and stuff, and there was a lot of errors, there was a lot of things and stuff. And then also when McCain was the pitcher in the 9th inning, I hate this at Carlos Santana. I don't understand of enough of why. Okay, so Perdomo went to 1-1 and stuff. Only got one hit the whole game and stuff. I guess he walked his second time and stuff, and that was pretty much it from him. And that's where enough of Jose Fernandez. I was happy seeing him to come into the play. He didn't do so well today, but he came in and stuff. He did great at shortstop. He was mostly main as being as a shortstop, and he can play anywhere in infield. So love to have a opportunity of a person to play in any position in infield and stuff. And then having Vargas, I get it about Nolan Arenado. Like, I get it. It was at this time when we were like down by 12-1 and stuff. He got Arenado got one hit as well, so he didn't go so much. He went 1 for 2, I meant to say, and stuff. So it was just weird seeing Vargas at third base and stuff, and then James McCain and stuff. Like, okay, why did you put Nolan Arenado out and Perdomo when both of them actually hits were enough of you could actually put Jose Fernandez at first and take out Carlos Santana, because Carlos Santana went 0 for 4, by the way, and stuff. That's what I would do, and stuff. So it didn't really make sense enough. I understand enough for Vargas to come in. I don't know. I like Vargas. He went 2 for 2, and stuff. So seeing that. But it's just like, I don't know. It's weird. And then unfortunately, I get it about Tim Tebow come in for Jordan Lawler and stuff because he got hit in the hand. I would understand by that and stuff. Those were just the changing of it. And I go back to Santana at first base, because if he wasn't at first base, enough of it, we wouldn't have that weird play and stuff. Because again, at the ninth inning, it was never-ending game for the Diamondbacks, and you just keep giving runs away and letting the Braves just keep scoring and stuff. So these are the mistakes we need to understand. I understand about Nolan Arenado mistake in the fifth and stuff, but this, oh my God, I cannot believe this and stuff. I understand James McCain is not a pitcher of it and stuff. There was a play enough of Carlos Santana get to the ball and stuff, but fortunately enough, the pitcher was not there and stuff. If the pitcher's not there, how about you go there? Like, come on, there's another option right there and stuff. If you want to hustle, then just standing there, and blaming on the pitcher is not even a pitcher, by the way, and stuff. It's just like you want to hustle no matter what it is and stuff. And if it was close and it would still be safe for the runner at first and stuff, I wouldn't mind that and stuff. It would be better if you did not stand there, and if you actually hustle or actually getting the player out. Because if you could, you might get the out and actually end the inning a little bit, not giving runs away and stuff. So there's just those things where enough of you got to understand, just hurting enough of Carlos Santana in 2 years when he was on the Twins winning a Gold Glove. At this point, I don't see it. So there's just a lot on defense where enough of we just made a lot of mistakes in giving the Braves opportunities to get a lot of runs and stuff, and that is a lot. If this is a type of game, enough of the opposite team are going to score on this team and stuff, those things are going to happen. We're gonna have bad days. There's sometimes we're gonna have good days and stuff, or probably like the most of the best days of it, like Jose Fernandez day and stuff. Like that was great and stuff. But fortunately, these are things are just gonna happen. Mostly of the time. I wouldn't say all the time and stuff, but they're gonna happen and stuff. And so those are the things enough of like if they were not having mistakes and stuff, then the Braves would naturally score a whole lot than they used to be this game and stuff. They wouldn't give up 17 runs if they didn't make any errors and stuff. It'll be making as like 15-2 or maybe 10-2 or 11-2 and stuff. That's just those typical things and stuff. So, they, the I already said like these things are gonna happen and stuff. Braves are also a good team as well and stuff. And yeah, Nelson needs to just relax. This is his second pitch and stuff in the game, his second starting. And then of it, Ginkel needs to do a lot better and stuff. Like I totally understand. The fifth inning just didn't go our way and stuff. Joe Ross was giving a lot of runs. Andrew Hoffman didn't give any runs at all and stuff. Good for him. And I understand about James McCain in the ninth and stuff. But that's what it is when we start giving up at the end and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, don't make mistakes, get some hits. There was some hits, but we didn't score on them and stuff. The only score enough of the base hit was probably Barossa and Vargas and stuff, and then Jordan Lawler hitting his first career home run and stuff. So that's the most biggest things of those typical things and stuff. So yeah, and then fortunately enough, no MVP because we lost. So hopefully we can get some revenge on the Braves tomorrow and stuff. Orodo Rodriguez did good on his first start with the Dodgers and stuff, and so hopefully he can do some damage against the Braves and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much of that. I understand the Diamondbacks lost and of it, and I did get heated, so I apologize for that. But you gotta understand enough of what if I would do and stuff. Omskar can make mistakes and stuff. There's the reason enough of we have the challenge, and I don't know why Lawler didn't challenge that play, that pitch and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much of that. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day.